Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ghosts and Guardians, my Destiny-centric show here in my Lunar Lightning Entertainment channel. And I felt like I wanted to talk about my impressions of The Taken King and everything overall since the 2.0 update. Now, I've got to say, I'm really liking The Taken King. The whole quest system makes everything a hell of a lot better, and you clearly have a path to go, and the story is actually cohesive and makes sense, and really Cade kicks ass. I love that character. Nathan Fillion does a great job voicing that character, and really all the characters in general have something going on. Although I do feel Ikora is really lacking. Like, she has maybe a couple lines in the whole thing, and she's not really showcased. You see Commander Zavala actually have some decent lines, but in any cutscenes, he's not really present. But overall, I really enjoyed the story that they presented, even though the story itself was kind of short. But it's the quest system that really shows off everything. You unlock new quests as you progress through the game. As you do things, new quests become available. Secret side missions within a mission that unlocks various exotics. The whole black spindle thing that blew up, unfortunately, I never had a chance to even try for it because that was the day that I had to work late and never got to play Destiny that day. So, yeah, stuff like that, and just the future of how there could be other side missions within missions that unlock other things within the game, whether it be a weapon, whether it be a piece of armor, or just unlock another quest in that quest line. Really shows off what can happen within this game and brings a lot of hope for the future of Destiny in general. But everything isn't perfect. No game is perfect out there, no matter what the series. I still have an issue with the whole light levels, whereas they said they did away with the old light progression system in favor of this new one that's, yes, it's a little more easier to understand, but you're still waiting to get that specific gear drop to really level up to get to that raid. Unfortunately, I never got to try the raid until the following week. I never got to, well, actually, technically, it'd be considered this week, back on Tuesday. And just because I wasn't a high enough light level to even participate in that raid until that point. And if I didn't have that day off, I probably wouldn't have been able to play it until this weekend. And it's really unfortunate that you're still grinding for gear to be able to play this higher level stuff. But it's really not that hard to do. It is no longer based on luck. If you max out your gear and then just decrypt your stuff, you have a higher chance of getting something you need. Although I did find once you hit level 280-ish, it became harder and harder to find stuff that really progressed beyond that. I recently, was it yesterday or the day before, or something like that, within the last couple days, I got a loot drop that contained, I'd have to say, at least 25 items altogether, where I wasn't one particular drop, but doing several strikes. And really, there was only one item that was useful to upgrade my light level. And even the new means of getting exotics, the only drop I've gotten was from using the 3 of coins, or whatever the hell it's called, from Xur. And it's not that effective. I had to use 5 before I got a drop, which is really unfortunate. Yes, people have been doing the same mission over and over again to try getting these exotics. And I just been trying to do it legitimately by playing various strike missions, using them on the strikes to try getting them. I guess I shouldn't say legitimately, because any way you do it, you're doing it legitimately, as long as you're fighting a boss and getting it. But like, it wasn't even giving me higher level gear. I was getting a whole bunch of blues falling instead of even purples. I'd get the odd purple as you play more and more strikes. The loot gets a little bit better and better. But I haven't really seen that great of an effect from the 3 of coins, or whatever the hell it's called. If that's the wrong name, I apologize ahead of time, because I just can't get a clear sense of what that item is called right now. I'm just really tired. But let's get right back into it. Another issue I am finding is the requirement for teamwork. Now, there are some things that I completely support the requirement of a team, such as the raid and some strikes. But the Black Spindle mission, whereas you can technically play that by yourself, but you are not getting that Black Spindle without a fire team of 3 players. It's just not happening. There's too much going on for one person to really take on. And yes, I can't say it from personal experience, but I did watch videos. I've talked to other players who have done this, and they said, no, there's no way you're doing this by yourself. And that just leaves one aspect of the game that you cannot do by yourself. So you're essentially, it's an exotic weapon that you're not going to be able to do by yourself. And there are, I'm sure, other items that we still don't know about that are hidden within the game that will require a fire group of 3 to do. And that's kind of unfortunate. Like, it's not that big of a deal for me personally, because I do have a clan that does play pretty well every day, so I can go on any day and really find some players to do something like this. But for some players out there, that's not something that's possible, or they just don't feel like playing with other players outside of maybe a random strike where you're really not talking to anybody, but you could still get the job done. And that's another issue that I had a problem with the Vanguard strikes. I had an issue with that they don't fill the players once someone quits. And I ran into that issue last time I played, where I was trying to get these Vanguard strikes done. One person would quit and you'd be left with 2, and there'd be no one filling in that spot. In the past, I can remember players being brought in to fill that spot, and we'd be playing pretty well most of that level with 2 players, and still no one would be filled in. And it could really use some help, especially some of these strikes. Once you get to a certain point, you need those 3 players to do this. And as soon as you lose those 2 players, you have to quit, and any multiplier you may have got from the previous strikes that you were doing is completely lost, because it forced you to leave, because there's no way you're going to do some of these strikes by yourself. And that's really unfortunate. My final, I guess you could say, critique or negative point to this is the fact that for most of the leveling progression, because it's based on all your weapons and armor and even your ghosts and the new charms, or whatever the hell they're called, everything basically helps your light or hinders your light. And I find myself using weapons I don't want to use in a situation because I don't have a weapon I normally would be using with a high enough light level to do anything, or a level, I guess you could say, in general. High enough stats, whatever, however you want to put it. It's not high enough to do what I need to do. So I'm a type of player that likes to use a scout rifle a lot and I'm forced to be using a hand cannon, or I like to use, like, I don't mind playing with shotguns or snipers. I'm not a huge fusion rifle fan, but I'm stuck with a fusion rifle because that's what will give the best damage overall, and I don't like that. To me, the armor itself is really not that important outside of maybe increasing, say, your intellect or discipline or strength to the stat that you want it to. But pretty well, I find the perks not all that great in any of the gear overall. As far as armor goes, there's a few exceptions, but there's nothing I say, okay, I want to keep this helmet or this chest piece or whatever to ascend it or level it up or however you want to put it. There's nothing saying I want to keep this item throughout the game. But for weapons, there are a couple there that I want to progress through the game. So that's basically what I have to say as far as the negative points. And I already told you the biggest plus is the story. Even though I've said like a lot of negative things, this is an amazing upgrade from what Destiny was a year ago. This is a hell of a lot better. I strongly highly recommend this if you have not played Destiny at all or played it before and just didn't really get into it. I highly suggest trying this out, but use the spark that they give you to level up to 25 to get to this new stuff, because the old stuff doesn't even compare to what the new stuff has. You could always go back and try all the old stuff, but just get used to the new stuff first and see what Destiny is going to be in the future coming. There are still some issues with it, but there is definitely more positive things to play. The gameplay is still solid, and the story has just gotten a hell of a lot better than what it was in the past. So that's pretty well all I have to say as far as my opinions go about Destiny: The Taken King and the 2.0 update overall. I like the fact that you can go back and upgrade some of the gear you owned in the past as far as exotics for some Vanguard marks. You can easily get rid of all your exotics if you want and then rebuy them later on if you need space. I still find the vault does not have enough space, but it's just a minor issue. Still, that's it. If you have any comments or other things that I may have missed, please leave them in the comments below. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, or you can follow me on Twitter at LunarLightENT. So I hope to be doing a hell of a lot more of these videos in the coming future. I have not been able to put this game down really. I've been addicted to it even more so than what I have been in the past. I don't think I've touched another game since this game has been released. But until next time, bye.